Hey, fifth graders, how we doing? Hope everyone is doing just fine. Right now it's Monday morning, so start of a new week, week 4 of our online adventure. Okay, so hopefully you had a great weekend. Hopefully things are going well for you, and let's get this week going. We are starting a new chapter today. We've done a little review for the past 5 or 6 days. Now we're going to start some new material. We are going to get into measurement and converting from one unit of measure to another. So that's where we're at. Okay. So chapter 12, section 1, convert customary units of length. Okay, we know what length is. Okay, distances. Basically, this chapter is organized. We do 3 sections with the customary system: length, capacity, and weight. And then we do 3 sections with the metric system: length, capacity, and weight again. Okay, so I guess our first question is, what are we talking about when we say the customary system? What are we talking about? Customary, what's that? Okay, well, that is basically the United States and like maybe 3 other countries in the rest of the world, and that's about it. Everyone else is metric. Okay, there's been talk for years about the United States switching to metric system. We never have. I don't know, it's just stress, or it's just scary to think of 300 million people learning a new system, but it hasn't happened. But everything in the real world outside the United States is metric. When you, in the Olympic sporting events, is metric. It's not the 100-yard dash, it's the 100-meter dash. It's not the, everything's metric. So, but United States, we're still customary. So that means customary is things like pounds and miles and gallons and cups. Okay? These are all examples of customary units of measure. And today we're focusing on length. So today we're only going to focus on 3 of these. We're going to focus on inches, and we're going to focus on feet. Next we're going to focus on 4 yards and miles. Okay? So these are the 4 customary units of measure related to length. Okay? We'll focus on pounds another day, and gallons another day, and cups another day. Today we're focused on these 4. Okay? And there's a few relationships we want to focus on. Okay? How are these distances related? All right, so we start with the smallest unit of measure, and that would be an inch in the customary system. Today's all about the customary system. So the smallest unit of measure is an inch. It's about that long. Okay, and we know that there's a relationship between inches and feet. All right, so one of those relationships is 1 foot equals 12 inches. Okay, 12 inches is just a little bit shorter than the regular ruler that you probably have. I think most rulers are about 15 inches, 14 or 15 inches. Okay, so a foot, I don't think they're 12 inches. Okay. Oh, I was wrong. Okay, regular ruler, 12 inches. All right, so this is a foot. All right, so 1 foot equals 12 inches. All right, you take 3 of these, put them together, They're harder to find, honestly. It's harder to find a yardstick. Usually what you're going to find is a meter stick. But you take 3 of these and you have a yard. So a yard is equal to 3 feet. But then if a foot is 12 inches and you have 3 feet, that means a yard is also 36 inches. So you could also, that is another relationship. We don't use that one as often, okay? But a yard is equivalent to 36 inches, all right? And then, you know, a yard is only about this long. We really don't have anything in the middle until we jump all the way up to the longest distance, which is a mile, okay? A mile is, we know that the mile is what we use for long distances. How far to Kansas City? A couple hundred miles, okay? How far did you ride your bike today? I went out for a 10-mile bike ride, all right? So the mile is what we use for longer distances. A mile is 5,280 feet, okay? And that's what makes the customary system so annoying is you have these random relationships. 1 foot, 12 inches, 1 yard, 36 inches, or 1 yard, 3 feet, and then 1 mile, 5,280 feet. When we get to the metric system, you're going to learn everything is always powers of 10. It's either 10 of this or 100 of that or 1,000 of that, but it's very easy to manipulate, to work with. Customary system, not so much, but it's what we use. So, you know, as long as we're using it, we need to have some knowledge of it. Okay, so today's assignment is all about just going back and forth between from feet to inches, from yards to feet, from maybe miles to feet. Okay, this little box this information right here, it is in your textbook. I'm on page 490 and 491 today. So if you look on page 490, you will see the same relationships chart that I gave you right here. And then these few problems that I'm going to give you are on page 491. So this is where my sample problems are coming from that I'm going to be giving you here in just a few seconds. Okay, so that's where we're at today, 490, 491, converting customary units of length. All right, so let's go ahead and look at what some of your problems are going to look like today. All right, problem number 11. 3 yards is equal to blank inches. Okay, 3 yards is equal to blank inches. All right, so the first thing you want to do is write down the relationship that you do know. I know that 1 yard is equal to 36 inches. Okay, that's the relationship that I know. So the question is, how do we get from, so then you look at how do you get from one piece to the next. So I know that 1 yard, how do I get from 1 to 3? Well, clearly I multiply it by 3. This is going to be all about multiplication today. Don't say, oh, you can add 2. That doesn't help us, okay? So times 3. So 1 yard times 3. 1 times 3 is 3. I'm going to do the same thing over here to get my answer. Times 3 again. All right? So now I'm taking 36 times 3. 36 times 3, 18. Carry the 3, 9. Plus 1 is 10. So my answer would be 3 yards is equal to 108 inches. 3 yards equals 108 inches. 1 yard is 36 inches. 2 yards is 72 inches. 3 yards would be 108 inches. All right, so that's the kind of thing we've got going on. All right, number 12. We have 324 feet is equal to blank yards. Is equal to blank yards. What do I know about yards and feet? I know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. Okay? So, how do I get from 3 to 324? Well, clearly I'm going to, trying to guess 3 times what is 324? That's not the easiest thing. So we can flip it around, we can divide it. Okay? So I could say, let's divide this by 3. Okay? 324 divided by 3 does not give us 3, but if I know that 3 feet is a yard, how many 3 feet groups are there in 324? Okay? So what I can do is divide my 324 by 3. 3 goes into 3 once, times 3 is 3, subtract to get 0, drop my 2. 3 goes into 2, 0 times. And that gives me 24. 3 goes into 24 8 times. Okay, so what that tells me is 3 times 108 equals 324. So then I would do the same times 108 over here. 1 times 108 is clearly 108. So what do you know? I have 108 again for this answer. So 324 feet is going to be 108 yards. Okay? So, which makes sense. If one of these yards equals 3 feet, I would multiply 108 times 3, and that would give me the 324. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say every answer is probably not going to be 108. Just keep that in mind. Okay? All right, let's do a couple more of these. Length is probably the one that you'll have the least trouble with, just because there's not a lot of relationships to work with. Okay, so I think you'll zip through this today pretty quickly if you haven't already. Okay. Number 13. This one's going to be a little bit trickier. 2 2/3 miles equals how many feet? Okay. How many feet? All right, so get the numbers in front of you that you're working with. All right, 1 mile, I'm working with miles, and I'm working with feet. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. Okay, so how do I get from 1 to 2 2/3? I multiply by 2 2/3. Okay, so if I multiply by 2 2/3 over there, I'm going to multiply by 2 2/3 over here. Now, what I am creating for myself is a problem that doesn't look all that fun to work out, but it is what it is. All right, so to find out the number of feet in 2 2/3 mile, I'm going to multiply the number of feet in 1 mile by 2 2/3. All right, so 2 2/3 times 5,280, which just seems like a crazy problem. All right, go back a couple chapters. How do I multiply mixed numbers? First step is to change my mixed number to an improper fraction. So 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8 over 3. Multiply that times 5,280. Okay, so there's my problem. All right, so I certainly hope we can do a little cross canceling here. First step is to see, we've changed everything to mixed numbers, or improper fractions, excuse me, everything's improper fractions. So now I want to look and see if I can cross cancel. Okay, so to do that, 5,280, does 3 go into that? I hope so. 3 into 5 one time, 1 times 3 is 3, subtract to get 2, drop my 2. 3 goes into 22 7 times, 7 times 3 is 21, subtract to get 1, drop the 8. 3 goes into 18 6 times, which is exactly 18, subtract to get 0, drop the 0. 3 goes into 0 0 times, so I get 1,760. So I can cross out this 1 or 3 and make it a 1. I can cross out this 5,280 and make it a 1,760. Okay? 8 and 1, no cross canceling going on that way. So I still have a pretty big problem to work out, not a mental problem. So, but to get my final answer, I know that 1 times 1 is 1. And then to get my numerator, 1760 times 8. So 1,760 times 8, 0, 48, 56 plus 4 is 60, 8 plus 6 is 14. Okay, so my answer would be 14,080. Okay, over 1. So 2 2/3 miles is 14,080 feet. Okay, 14,080 feet. So a lot of math going on there. We're dividing whole numbers, we're multiplying mixed numbers. Okay, a lot of things going on there. So, but the process is still basically the same, all right? If this would have just been plain old 2 miles, it would have been a lot easier problem, just times 2 when you got your answer. But hey, they want to mix it up a little bit, have a little fun, so they make it into some fractions, all right? Nothing wrong with that, okay? All right, we'll do one more, and then I will let you turn off this video, and you can get to work on your own assignment. So, number 14, we have 56 feet. This one's a little bit different again, and this is going to be a certain amount of yards and then a certain amount of feet. Okay? So, 56 feet equals how many yards and then how many feet left over. Okay? So, I know that 1 yard is 3 feet. Okay? So, roll through your 3s. I know that 3 times 10 is 30. I know that 3 times 12 is 36. Okay, if we roll through, 3 times 13 is 39. Just kind of working my way up to 56. 36, 39, plus 3 is 42, plus 3 is 45, plus 3 is 48. All right, this would be times 16. 3 times 17 is 51. 3 times 18 is 54. And 3 times 19 is 57, which pushes me too high. Okay? So 54 is the best I can do. 54, that was times 18. So 56 feet is 18 complete yards, 18 full groups of 3, and then that took me to 54. That leaves me with 2 feet left over. Okay, and there's my answer. Another way I could have done this problem is 50, maybe they think this is easier, 56 divided by 3, because there's 3 yards in 1 foot. All right, so 3 goes into 56 one time, which is 3, subtract to get 2, drop my 6, 3 goes into 26 8 times, which is 24, subtract to get 2, so 18 remainder 2. There's my 18, there's my remainder 2, 18 yards, 2 feet, okay? Now, this problem could have very easily been slightly different. This problem could have just said yards, and that's it, okay? If that were the case, then what I would have done is made this into a fractional answer. 18, and then instead of remainder 2, 2 becomes my numerator, 3 becomes my denominator, and my answer would be 18 2/3 yards. Okay? You will see a problem like this, I'm pretty sure. Okay? So just be aware of that. Okay? For what I thought was a simple assignment, it's kind of took longer than I expected, but that's okay. So, all right, so this is customary conversions of length. All right, next lesson will be customary conversions of capacity. We'll get to that next, okay? So for you, that might be tomorrow. For me, that's going to be in about 5 minutes. So hey, We'll see you later. Take care of yourselves. Be good. Love you guys. Miss you guys. Bye.